Our first step is to get our quadratic inequality to be less than 0. Hence, I'm going to move the 25 from the right-hand side across the left-hand side by doing the opposite. The opposite, add 25, therefore is subtract 25 from both sides. On the right-hand side, we know 25 take away 25 will leave us with 0. And on the left-hand side, I've still got x squared, and I've now got negative 25 that's come across. I should now notice on the left-hand side, I have the difference of two squares. As I have a squared term, must be subtract another squared term. Hence, applying the difference of two squares. What multiplied by itself gives us x squared? Well, I know x and x. What multiplied by itself gives us 25, or the square root of 25. Therefore, it's going to be plus 5 and minus 5. I know in this case, it's still less than 0. As I want my quadratic to be less than 0, well, less than 0 is where the quadratic is below ground, i.e. underneath the x-axis. To determine where my quadratic is less than 0, i.e. below ground, i.e. underneath the x-axis, my first step is to draw a quick sketch of my quadratic graph. To determine the roots, i.e. where my quadratic graph cuts the x-axis, my first step is to place each single bracket equal to 0. Placing x plus 5 equal to 0, we know the opposite of add 5 is subtract 5, therefore one's root is at negative 5. Placing my other single bracket equal to 0, well, the opposite of minus 5 is to add 5, therefore my other root is at positive 5. Plotting that on my graph, I know negative 5 will be somewhere here on the left, and positive 5 will be somewhere here on the right. As my quadratic is positive x squared, therefore I know it's a parabola, i.e. a U-shape. As I'm asked to solve the quadratic inequality, where it's less than 0, i.e. below ground, well, I can see my graph is below ground for this region here, and I can see it's above ground for this region to the left, and this region off to the right. As my quadratic is less than 0, i.e. below ground for one region, therefore I write that as a single inequality. So in the middle will come x, so x is greater than negative 5, and x is less than positive 5.
Your turn.